A bit stuck, aren't you? That's what's left for the foot, basically, isn't it?
I mean, it's definitely going to be a hard edition. You know, some big names. One of the big upcoming stars of cycling racing. I think he's called like Alex. I'm going to call him Sargent or Sergant or something. He came second in under 23 individual time trial champs last year. It's pretty decent. Chris Lawless from the same team, Lotto Destiny, was Team Sky. You got obviously like Jake Scott, Matt Bostock, Roy Townsend from Black Spoke, Alex Richardson, Jack Rogan Gray from St Piran, Finn Crockett, who won it last year. He's now racing for like a Scottish team after 88 folded. Yeah, it's gonna be absolutely grim, but I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully my legs are alright. They start to feel good this week, finally, since crashing. So we'll see how good they actually are now tomorrow, because that's gonna be the real test.
Go now! Go on, Ed! Go on!
And here's the front of the racing led by Trinity Racing. So the other breakaway riders, as we thought, were caught shortly after the lap time through instant. 55 seconds, the official time gap. The top winners are lonely.
Go on, Ed!
So that's CiCle Classic 2023 done. It was won by Luke Lamperty from Trinity Racing, and our best finisher from the academy was Hugh in 13th. He made the front group of like less than 30 guys, and yeah, came 13th in that little bunch kick. I think for me, it's mainly a bad day out. Well, it wasn't, because it's good in the for the legs, but tactically it wasn't my best race, I won't lie. We missed the move. Break of 5 I think went, but then one guy had a puncture, bring down to 4. And yeah, I was a bit too complacent at the start of the race. I got up towards the front just as we made the opening laps. And then after Lotto Destiny, and I think it was mainly Chris Lawless from Lotto Destiny, made it really, really hard through the lanes. As they eased up, I just kind of slipped off the front really easy. Like, I must not have been riding that hard. I didn't have a power meter on because I was riding my race bike, which doesn't have a power meter on. Hoping another rider or two would come across with me, or come with me. but unfortunately they didn't, and I decided to just carry on by myself. So it was a 4-minute gap to the break. I got halfway quite quickly, and then stayed at halfway for ages. Once we reached the sectors, I brought the gap down to the break to about a minute, or just under a minute, and then but the bunch had also brought my gap down to a minute back to them. So the races come back together, and yeah, I got caught. Must have been, I think it was about just over 2 hours into the bike race. I spent 65k solo until I got caught just coming through Manor Farm, and that's one of the clips you can see of me riding right towards the front through on the sectors. I'd just been caught just before it, but I stayed up towards the front for that part to avoid any carnage that happened. And yeah, after that I just sat in the bunch. It's still quite large. There must have been still about 100 riders maybe in the bunch, maybe a bit less. And then yeah, I stayed around on like the road circuit. I forgot the name of the climb, but there's a road circuit we got on the climbs, and then we make our way back to Summerberg for the second passage, where I had a front wheel puncture. I had my inserts in, so I could ride it, and I wasn't far off the back of the bunch. As you can see, I was coming back, I was only about 2 cars back. So I was trying to get back to the back of the bunch before I changed my wheel, but I never actually made it, so that ended up being my day done. And yeah, I eventually got a wheel change, but that was about 15k later, because I'd spent a fair old amount of time on that. Punctured front. And then yeah, I just rode basically the rest of it by myself. Caught up with Ben, but he'd been chasing basically all day after a front wheel puncture and a crash. We got pulled then coming into the last lap, so it's like a 15k circuit. So I got given a place of 73rd, but yeah, I didn't do the last 15k, which is quite annoying because I wanted to do it. It ended up being quite good, especially Hugh getting 13th. He was the rider who we wanted, or we thought we had our best opportunity with to get a result. So 13th is good. Rob wanted us to try and get a top 10, so I'm pretty sure 13th we can all be happy with. But we all had some bad luck. I think all of us punctured bar Spencer, but Spencer crashed just before the feed. So as a team, I think we can take away quite a few positives from that. We all know where we're at level wise. Like, I'm pretty happy with where I am now after my crash, so I'm quite happy to get crack with the rest of the season and hopefully get some actual good results. And the boys are approaching obviously second round of the under 23 road series, which is a week before Lincoln, so hopefully they can get a result to carry some good morale into the first round of the national road series of Lincoln for us, which is on the 14th of May, before we go out and do a Commerce block out in Belgium, which will be good fun as well. So yeah, I'm just trying to rattle through a load of things that I've got on my mind, especially with upcoming videos. But yeah, that's the CiCle Classic video over and done with. If you've got any other video suggestions, please let me know. Currently I've just got a load of race days coming up that I'll try and get some footage from, and maybe a few like training days, hard training days, hopefully a few adventures, especially like some gravel rides I want to do once the weather gets better and I can spend like 5-6 hours out doing some trails. But if you enjoyed this video, please drop it a like, please subscribe and comment what you want to see. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.